Order in the court. We will now hear the case of the fragrance community versus Jo Malone. First, we'll hear from the prosecution. Arguments in favor of Jo Malone being the negatives. And then we will hear from the defense, the positives of Jo Malone. Before that, just a little bit of background on Jo Malone in case you are not familiar with the brand. So Jo Malone London was founded by Jo Malone, who was a florist. So she used her background as a florist and knowledge of florals to put together these beautiful floral and fresh scents. Now this was in the 90s where, if you follow my love of really out of control, dramatic, heavy 80s scents, you might know that fresh, floral, natural scents were not so much in favor at the time. It was more about those dramatic 80s powdery kind of scents and had been for some time leading up to Jo Malone. So she broke a little bit of a ceiling there in terms of something new and fresh in the marketplace. And in 1994, she opened her shop in London, and by 1999, it had been acquired by L'Oreal. Editing interruption. I was too busy having fun with that gavel, I think, and I missed a huge detail here. I say that L'Oreal purchased Jo Malone. It's Estee Lauder. I don't know what I was thinking. Apologize. Back to your regularly scheduled program. Anytime I say L'Oreal, please substitute that with Estee Lauder, please. So it's been not owned by Jo for quite a bit of time. Even if you've been into Jo Malone throughout the 2000s, it was not owned by her at the time. She was involved with the company until 2006, at which time she parted ways and has since opened up a new owned line of fragrances called Jo Loves, which I haven't tried yet. I think it's kind of the same vein, still in the floral, fresh family. I've looked at the website. The reason I have not gone down that road yet is because I haven't really been wearing a lot of fresh floral fragrances. If you've been watching my videos, you know that my vibe lately has been more of the high drama. So that's why I haven't tried it out yet, but I do expect that I will. I'd like to support her in that endeavor and give it a shot. I'm sure I'll make my way there. But back to the matter at hand, back to the arguments. So why is the fragrance community so divided over this house? Well, the first thing is the price point. And a house being overpriced is hurled at a lot of different houses. Tom Ford, for example, gets a lot of the I love his scents, but that price is insane type of criticism. And the general argument is that you can find things of similar quality and similar delight at a better price point. And that definitely holds true for Jo Malone. In fact, I will, just to lean into the prosecution here as far as their prices, they're surprisingly expensive. They really are. One of my very first in-person shopping trip during COVID, I had been quarantining for so long, had not been to a store in forever, but I had to make a return at Nordstrom. So I went in, I saw the Jo Malone counter, and I was so excited to be shopping in person. I just sort of grabbed a bunch. And I knew I liked Jo Malone. I had already had a couple of their samples, but I grabbed a couple of these larger bottles, put them up on the register, excitedly went to pay. And then when I heard the total, I was a little bit in shell shock because of the size of the bottles and the amount that I purchased. Yikes, they are expensive. A lot of houses are expensive. You pay for the prestige, the luxury, but gosh, you try to tell somebody like $70 for a candle or whatever, or body lotion. It's a little up there for the other things about the brand that people dislike, which are the projection. So the projection is well known as being not fabulous. So it's not a room filler for sure. The concentration is tied to a lot of that. These are all colognes. Even the intense ones that I'll go over, they don't really project that well. And the colognes are the lowest concentration of perfume that you can get. You can get cologne, you can get eau de toilette, eau de parfum, and then extracts, and cologne being on the bottom there, you'd expect maybe to pay less for it because it's not as concentrated, but that's not the case with Jo Malone. They're still up there in price point. And the other is the longevity. They get a lot of criticism for the longevity being very poor. I'm having fun playing around with my toy here. Just have to ignore that if it's distracting to you. They definitely get a lot of criticism for not being long lasting. which is definitely the case. So I will talk about my favorites. I'm going to end this video by going least to favorite of my collection. So I'll talk about the ones that last a little bit better and how I wear them. But generally, the court grants the motion that Jo Malone fragrances generally are not long lasting. Okay, so what are the arguments for the defense? Well, they are beautiful scents. They are fresh scents that are easy to wear. They are very light, and you can blend them together beautifully. The blending piece is neat because you can make yourself a signature scent, a unique scent, just by combining a few of these. And then you've got yourself, oh, you know, now I smell like a unique individual just by combining these easy to wear, beautiful, fresh scents. They're also very popular where I am from. I mentioned in my How I Spray Perfume video that heavier, room-filling beast mode scents are not popular near me. So being able to just, I want to smell pretty today, but I don't want to give my coworker a migraine, spritz some Jo Malone, voila. I've got a pretty skin scent. I get to enjoy it, but I'm not killing my coworker. So if you want something that's easy to wear to work, easy to wear outside, something for just yourself to enjoy. And if you like natural scents, fresh scents in general, Jo Malone is an easy win for you. You'll find probably whatever you pick up, you will enjoy. They're pretty pleasing to the nose, which is number one with fragrances. That is the case. You, the jury, tell me below in the comments where you land on this. Is the jury still out? Are you on the side of the prosecution, the defense? I'm not a lawyer. This does not constitute legal advice. So that is the case, and I'm going to talk now about the actual collection that I have. I have a bunch. I don't have them all. So if your favorite's not here or your least favorite's not here, I'm sorry. This is all I've got. I do have the regular scents, the colognes, and then the intense collection as well that I got in Discovery. So starting at the bottom, we're gonna get more positive as the video goes. So the first one is this dark amber. So this is, first of all, this is from the Discovery set, the intense ones. They're all in these little black bottles. I think the amount is sufficient really to get a good trial. I barely made a dent in these, even though I feel like I've worn them a decent amount. Okay, so this one, this dark amber and ginger lily. Amber is a tricky one for me generally. I know it pops up, it's very popular. It seems to be very popular. For me, it's hit or miss. It's very hit or miss. As a base, I tend to prefer like an oud or a musk. Amber is a little trickier for me. It's like a little scratchy sometimes to me. And the ginger in this, it feels like a swing, like they took a swing outside of their comfort zone and it was a miss. I think it does read a little bit more masculine too, but I'm not really sure who this is for. Even as like a mixing ingredient, I think I probably go to the website, they'll tell you what they recommend that you mix it with, but I can't picture it in my mind. Again, maybe it's more of a masculine scent, but I haven't found a lot of uses for this. I don't even like to pick it up and smell it. It doesn't do anything for me. The second to least favorite is also another intense. This is Vividor and Golden Vanilla. Again, I'm not gonna probably show you them all because there's only two kinds of bottles here in front of me. So with this one, my issue with it is the vanilla. It's just not my favorite way to use vanilla. It's a very mellow vanilla. So if you like just like a subtle, very subtle vanilla, smooth, you might find something in this for you. For me, I prefer either like a very boozy, fun vanilla or like a gourmand. This one is kind of neither. It's really, I don't know, bland, I guess. It definitely, again, feels like, you know, like a vermouth in a drink. Like it doesn't feel like it's bringing itself to the table. It feels like you need to mix it with something. You know, so if you did have something, but like even like with a vanilla, I feel like this wouldn't add anything. Like if you had a vanilla fragrance and you added this to try to get like a pop more vanilla, I don't think it's going to get you there. So pass this one. It's not that it smells bad. I just don't feel like it has a lot of uses. This is my first non-intense. This is Nectarine, Blossom, and Honey. This might be a little controversial because I think this is a popular one. Sorry about the way that lighting's showing up. There we go, we're focusing now. This is the other style of bottle I have too, is these taller, skinny guys that are more expensive than you think. Anyway, the reason I'm not a big fan of this, it's kind of boring. It tries to be like a standalone perfume. It's not like trying to be just a mixer. And I think it falls down a little bit. It's just not working for me. It feels a little too one note for the price and for what it is. And it's like a little bit sharp to me too. I think it's like that nectarine citrus. It doesn't feel like a juicy citrus, which could be okay for someone like me that doesn't really like fresh. But I feel like all you kind of get is just that like sharp something happening in this perfume, but it's not like a full fragrance. Like it doesn't have enough like a burst of fragrance to it. It just feels sharp in one note. Doesn't smell bad for sure, but I just don't reach for this. I just kind of think it's boring. Jasmine, Sambac, and Marigold. Not a bad one. It stands a little bit on its own. I just feel like you could definitely pick up the jasmine in this. Jasmine's such a popular, strong scent at the moment. I just feel like it's done better so many other places that you don't need this one. Yeah, if you really like jasmine, there's a ton of white florals that'll get you there. This one's too expensive for what it is. There's some marigold in the name and in here, and you can pick it up a little bit, but you're basically just getting jasmine, but it's not like a room filler amazing jasmine either. It's very subtle. You could probably use it as a mixer with other jasmine perfumes and it wouldn't interfere. It might add a little bit. It's not worth it in my book. All right, so the next one I'm a little biased on. This is Amber and Lavender. As I mentioned, Amber is a tough note for me. And I talked about this in my perfume tour. The reason that this one doesn't rank higher in my book is because it reads masculine, just a little too masculine for me. But the positives are, I think this is one of the stronger ones as far as projection and longevity. It has a very distinct smell. The lavender is very distinct. So if you like lavender, you might like this. The thing is, I said, it just reads like masculine to me. So I'm going to give this, I gave this already to my husband. I stole it back for the purpose of this video to review it. I think it would make a better masculine floral scent than a feminine. But I actually think this is a good one. It's just not a good one. It doesn't rank highly for me personally. All right, Myrrh and Tonka. Now we're getting kind of towards the ones that I have more love in my heart for. I think this is a really pretty scent, to be honest. I'm being honest with all of these. When you say to be honest, it makes people doubt you, but yeah. I'm just saying that for being kind of mid-pack here, this is a nice, pretty scent. I like to smell it. I think it's unique too. And I like how they've combined the notes. I like how smooth it is. It's a cool scent. I just don't think it stands on its own. That's the reason it's mid-pack. It smells, again, like a mixer. I do spray it sometimes just on its own because I like it, but it doesn't really do anything on its own. It really needs to be mixed, but I don't have a lot to mix it with. Maybe as I pick up, I've got a couple of like myrrh fragrances that I have my eye on. So if I pick up any of those, maybe I'll try to layer it with this to see if it adds more value. It's mid-pack for me because it's a pretty scent. I like it. I don't have as many uses for it though as I would like. All right, now we're kind of getting into the top. We're about like 50% through here. All right, Velvet, Rose, and Oud. I have a big soft spot for both of those notes. A lot of my favorite perfumes are rose. I definitely love an oud base. So this one, I like it. It's very unique and it's very unisex. So if you are a fella who enjoys rose and oud, I think it's wearable for a fella as well. It's where everything is unisex in that sense. But I'm saying, if it leaves masculine or feminine, this one smells true unisex to me. And I like the way that they've combined the rose and oud. It's also, it projects decently. I wore this before bed the other night and I got some comments. My son thought like I had chocolate or something like that. It's not, he's 9, what does he know? It says it doesn't smell gourmand in that way, but it does have this like, I don't know, maybe like a milky quality to it. Just like a very sniffable, like you actually have like the rose petals in front of you and you get that softness to it. I really like it. It doesn't need to be mixed either. I think you probably could mix this with a rose or an oud and give it a little bit of a punch. It doesn't need to be mixed though. Yeah, this is a good one. We're getting more positive now. Okay. All right, this might be controversial that this one's ranking so low because this is the headliner. This is Wood, Sage, and Sea Salt. Sorry, this is doing nothing for you, huh? Anyway, I do have this in a larger bottle too. I just grabbed the littler one. But Wood, Sage, and Sea Salt is the one where if you're just starting to get into Jo Malone, you look for like a discovery set, a sample. If you get like a gift with purchase, this is a lot of times the one that Jo Malone will lead with. Like, here, try this. This is our signature best scent, best foot forward. And I do like the scent. It's nice. But I'm just not a big fan of salty scents. I'm not a big fan of fresh scents. So I just don't wear it a ton. It's not something that I reach for a lot. Where I reach for it the most is in my closet. I use it as like a scent to spray my clothes sometimes as like a freshener. if something's been in there for a little bit and I just feel like it needs like a quick refresh, I might just spray the, that item of clothing. Also, it's a good like, beach scent, obviously. You're going to be spending a lot of time outside and sweating, so you don't want anything too heavy. And you just want something light to gently coat your skin. This is a good one. You're not going to go wrong with this one. I just don't reach for it a lot because it's not my jam at the moment, which is why it doesn't rank more highly. All right, Honeysuckle and Divana. Another one of these tall guys. Yeah, so we're getting toward the top here. This is very standalone. I mean, for at this price point, it does feel a little lousy to have to say like, yeah, it is a perfume. But honestly, I said with some of these, they just feel like such mixers that to spend all that money just to get yourself a mixer is kind of rough. But this Honeysuckle and Divana, this one feels like a standalone perfume. Especially if you layer it with the body lotions and things like that. It has a unique quality to it. I think I like that Divana, that herbal quality to it. I think it brings something unique to the table where it's not just a one note floral, it's just not one note sweet. It has this, like it cuts the sweetness a little bit to have that herbal note to it. I think it's unique and cool and wearable. It's not offensive. It projects okay. As far as the Jo Malones, it projects a little bit better than a lot of the other ones that I've ranked here. Still need a lot of resprays though, as far as the longevity. Top 3. English Pear and Freesia. I really like this one. It is very floral, but this pear note in here, I really enjoy. I think it got that element there that's like a little sneaky, a little surprising. It does feel like a crisp, juicy pear, but not like in a synthetic way. It does smell like you've actually kind of bitten into the pear and you're in this garden. And I really like this Freesia too. I don't always like Freesia. Sometimes it's like a little bit too like, I don't know. I don't like potpourri, I guess, like a little too much potpourri kind of smell. But I think it's found a nice balance. I think that the pear combination is not too citrusy. It's just kind of like brings a dry fruit element into it, which gosh, that makes it sound even more like potpourri. Maybe it's a little bit potpourri, but not like old lady potpourri or like toilet potpourri. Does that help? It just smells nice. Classic, pretty, crowd pleasing, projection, okay. And Peony and Blush Suede. This one's great. I like this one. This is another one that they lead with. So if you get like a 2-pack of a sample, it'll be wood salt, and then the other one will be Peony and Blush Suede. They also make a candle that's enjoyable for this one. It's unique. It's unique. It's cool. It's unisex. I'm gonna spray it now. It's floral, but yeah, I like it. Okay, I like this one. Yeah, it's very wearable, extremely wearable. You can wear it to class. You can wear it to work. Out of the mall. Projection is decent on this one. You definitely need to respray for the longevity. I should look into the notes a little more because I'm not even 100% sure what they mean by blush suede. Like legitimately, it does have like a little bit of that quality, but I don't know if that's what they're specifically referencing. But it's not too floral. It's unisex and crisp and light and pretty. All right, here's my favorite. Might be controversial. I mean, no one's gonna fight me over it. But I don't think it's a lot of people's favorite Jo Malone, but it's mine. Earl Grey and Cucumber. Okay, so the reason I think this ranks so highly for me is because it is a true fresh scent, and I don't usually like those. I don't reach for them that much. They're just usually kind of fine to me, but I still really enjoy this one. I still find it really unique. I think it fills a niche in my repertoire here of perfumes. I don't wear it like, I wouldn't wear it to a club. I don't go to clubs very much anyway. I wouldn't wear it to a formal event. But as far as like a day-to-day kind of scent, a bed scent, I got horrible rain happening today. So like hanging out in my house, I find it very calming, very soothing. I really like the herbalness to this and the freshness to it, and I don't usually. And it's definitely a true unisex too. The thing with this one though, I wanted to put it first because it's honestly the one that I wear the most and the one that I like the most. The longevity is bunk though. I sprayed it before bed after my shower. The other night I wore it. I put it on at like 6:37. That's when I start getting ready for bed because I'm sad and old. Anyway, I actually went to sleep around 10 o'clock, and at that time it was gone. I couldn't smell it at all. So, Jo Malone. You know, yeah. I mean, I feel like my collection really reflects the pros and cons here, the prosecution and the defense. I'm going to go through this collection. I just don't reach for some of these very much. As I said, I'm going to give some to my husband for sure. There's probably a couple more here that I'll declutter just because I don't get a lot of use out of them, and I want to make some space and make sure that all the ones I have in my collection are getting the love they deserve. But there are definitely some that I'm glad that I own and will continue to wear off into the future. So what do you think? Where do you stand? Let me know in the comments. Pro Jo Malone, against Jo Malone. Will you be trying out Jo Loves? I know I will at some point, so I will update you on my thoughts there to see if they have more in line with the Jo Malone or if they bring something unique to the table. If you like this video, whether or not you like Jo Malone, please like it. If you enjoy fragrance content, blind buys, hauls, reviews, please subscribe. 2 second is the best. I upload whenever it strikes my fancy, which lately has been pretty often. That's all for this one. Jury's still out. Let me know in the comments. I will see you in the next one.